Ever wondered what happens when you blow a golden opportunity in Hollywood? Meghan Markle's awkward moment with Mariah Carey is a prime example. And trust me, it's more than just cringeworthy. This isn't just a podcast mishap. It's the beginning of Meghan's Hollywood downfall. Stick around to see how one wrong move set off a domino effect that could cost her everything. When Meghan Markle launched her Archetypes podcast, the world was watching. Fresh off her royal exit, Meghan was diving into the entertainment world, and everyone was curious to see if she could truly make a mark. Hollywood, cautious but intrigued, opened its doors to her. After all, she was royal, she was well known, and there was a certain allure about what she might have to offer. With her new ventures, like Netflix deals and Spotify podcasts, it seemed like the sky was the limit. So, when Mariah Carey, a global pop icon, agreed to join Meghan on the podcast, it was a huge deal. Not just for Meghan, but for Hollywood as a whole. This wasn't a casual interview. It was a powerful moment. Mariah Carey, an A-list star, a diva in her own right, coming to Meghan's podcast, sent a clear message. Meghan Markle was worth engaging with. The buzz around this episode wasn't just about the conversation itself, but about the potential for Meghan to transition from royalty to a Hollywood heavyweight. This could have been her big break, the moment she solidified her place in the entertainment world. But instead, things took a sharp turn. The conversation between Meghan and Mariah Carey was supposed to be a celebration of identity, fame, and the challenges that come with being women in the public eye. But then, something unexpected happened. Mariah casually called Meghan a diva. Now, coming from Mariah, this wasn't an insult. It was a playful, almost flattering remark. After all, Mariah is the queen of the diva persona. For anyone else, it would have been a moment of lighthearted fun, a playful nod to Mariah's own iconic status. But not for Meghan. The mood in the room shifted instantly. Where there had been warmth and easy conversation, now there was tension. Meghan's face changed from a smile to a stiff, awkward expression. She went from laughing to looking visibly uncomfortable. The woman who once graced the royal stage with poise now found herself spiraling internally. Later, Meghan admitted that Mariah's comment made her feel self-conscious. It wasn't just a casual remark to her. It felt like a personal jab. Instead of laughing it off or embracing the moment, she started questioning everything. Did Mariah even like her? Was she being mocked? And so, what could have been a light, engaging exchange quickly turned into a missed opportunity. Meghan didn't just miss the joke. She missed the entire dynamic of what was happening. This is where things really started to unravel. In Hollywood, the game is about knowing how to roll with the punches, especially when you're transitioning from one world to another. Meghan had the perfect chance to lean into Mariah's playful comment and turn it into a moment of empowerment. She could have laughed it off, played along with Mariah's diva persona, and even embraced it as a compliment. After all, being called a diva by Mariah Carey is almost like a badge of honor, a nod to a legacy of confidence, power, and fame. But instead, Meghan let it turn into something much bigger than it needed to be. She didn't just brush it off or laugh it off like anyone else in her position might have done. Instead, she let it affect her deeply and, worse, made it public. On her own podcast, she spent time explaining how hurt she was by Mariah's comment, turning it from a lighthearted moment into a grievance. It wasn't just a small, awkward interaction anymore. It became a defining moment, one that had been amplified by Meghan herself. What Meghan failed to realize was that Mariah's diva label was part of her brand. For decades, Mariah has embraced the diva title, using it as a source of power and control in an industry that thrives on image. By recoiling from it, Meghan not only missed a golden chance to play along, but also failed to understand the deeper layers of Hollywood's game. Instead of owning the moment and making it her own, she let it become her Achilles heel, something the public couldn't forget, no matter how much she tried to downplay it. Once the podcast episode aired, it wasn't just Meghan's discomfort that people noticed. It was the fallout that followed. Hollywood, a place where subtlety and perception are everything, picked up on something that was hard to ignore. Mariah Carey, a woman who has spent decades building an empire around her diva persona, wasn't just offering a playful nickname. She was offering a part of her own identity to Meghan. Yet, Meghan's inability to handle it the right way left a sour taste. In the days that followed, Mariah went quiet. There were no follow-up mentions of Meghan, no public support, nothing. It was as if Meghan's name had been erased from Mariah's world entirely. And in Hollywood, silence speaks louder than words. When you've been a guest on someone's podcast, especially someone of Mariah's stature, you expect some kind of acknowledgement later. But when Mariah was asked in an interview about royals she had met, she casually mentioned Sarah Ferguson, Fergie, but completely skipped over Meghan. Not a word, not even a hint. That wasn't an oversight, it was intentional. It was Mariah sending a very clear message. I'm done with this girl. It's a subtle but powerful move in an industry where one missed mention, one unacknowledged nod, can send ripples through an entire network. Hollywood's elite may not make grand declarations about who they like or don't like, but they certainly know how to make their feelings known through small gestures. And when Mariah distanced herself from Meghan, the message was loud and clear to everyone in the industry. Meghan isn't someone you want to get involved with. What happened next was even more telling. The ripple effect from Mariah's public snub wasn't limited to just one diva in the industry. Hollywood is a network built on connections, and once the higher-ups start pulling away, the rest follow. When someone like Mariah Carey, a name synonymous with stardom, decides to ghost you, people take note. It's not just about one celebrity turning their back, it's about an entire industry quietly backing away. The signs of Meghan's Hollywood fade out became undeniable. A-listers who once seemed eager to collaborate or acknowledge her started to distance themselves. Take Serena Williams, for example. The two had once been inseparable, frequently spotted together in public, praising each other in interviews and even supporting each other's ventures. But lately, silence. No cameos, no shout-outs, no behind-the-scenes support. Serena, one of the most powerful and influential figures in sports and Hollywood, hasn't shown any interest in backing Meghan's recent projects, and that silence. It's louder than any public statement could ever be. This is where things get tricky. In Hollywood, connections are everything, and the bonds in Black Hollywood are especially tight. Word spreads fast. And if someone like Mariah Carey chooses to leave you out of her narrative, others notice. It's not about blacklisting you outright. Those moves are more subtle, but it's enough to make people start treating you like a liability. They'll smile for the cameras, maybe take a meeting, but they won't offer any real backing. They won't go out of their way to support you. And that lack of support, that's how you start to fade into obscurity. Despite all the subtle signs pointing to her fading status, Meghan Markle has continued to push forward as if nothing has changed. She's still out there launching new shows, doing press tours, and plastering a smile on her face, as if the Hollywood doors are still wide open. Her recent projects, like with Love, Meghan, were supposed to be her big comeback, her chance to show the world that she could still hold an audience and stay relevant in an industry that's becoming less and less interested in her. But the reception, brutal. The comment sections are flooded with passive-aggressive remarks, and the viewership numbers are nowhere near what Netflix or Meghan had hoped for. What was supposed to be a strategic move feels more like a clumsy attempt at rebranding. With Love, Meghan comes across less like a polished production and more like a lifestyle vlog, a series where Meghan is trying too hard to look effortlessly cool. But the cracks are showing. The styling feels forced, the content lacks depth, and the magic that once surrounded her public persona is nowhere to be found. Yet Meghan keeps pushing forward, as if everything is fine. She's still trying to convince herself, and the world, that she's still the it girl, the one everyone is waiting to see succeed. But here's the thing. Hollywood doesn't work that way. You can't just keep showing up, expecting people to buy into your narrative. Once the vibe turns sour, no amount of PR spin or content creation can bring it back. Meghan's public image is starting to crumble, and no matter how much she smiles or tries to stay positive, the reality is setting in. Hollywood isn't buying what she's selling anymore. While Meghan is busy spinning her narrative in front of the camera, the reality behind the scenes is even messier. Prince Harry, once seen as the charming and brave royal, is reportedly struggling in ways that go beyond the public eye. Sources close to the royal family have revealed that Harry's emotional and financial situation isn't as stable as it may seem. One of his key charities, Centiball, which was a major part of his public identity, is allegedly slipping away from him. It's not just a personal loss, it's a hit to his reputation and to the image he built as a prince dedicated to charitable causes. But that's not the only issue. The lifestyle they've chosen in California, living in a lavish mansion in Montecito, comes with serious financial pressures. The mansion is not cheap. The security, the staff, the team handling their media and PR it all adds up. And when the revenue from Meghan's ventures doesn't match the expenses, cracks start to appear. The dream of living outside the royal spotlight is starting to feel less like a fairy tale and more like a high-stakes gamble. It's becoming clear that their new life isn't as financially secure as it once seemed. As much as Meghan may try to paint a picture of success and power, behind closed doors, there are major challenges. And for Harry, who's always tied his identity to his charity work and royal status, losing that public trust is a huge blow. The pressure is mounting on both of them, and it's not just about the image anymore, it's about survival. The royal fairy tale they wanted is slowly crumbling, and the impact is beginning to show, especially as their attempts to reinvent themselves in Hollywood start to fall short. Despite all the signs pointing to her fading relevance, Meghan Markle continues to push forward as though nothing's changed. Her latest attempts at rebranding, like with Love, Meghan, feel more like a desperate effort to maintain her place in the spotlight rather than a genuine, well-executed project. What was supposed to be her big Hollywood comeback has become a glaring example of why some things just can't be forced. The show, which was supposed to capitalize on her newfound freedom, feels more like a lifestyle vlog, a personal, curated look into Meghan's world, but lacking the authenticity and star power to make it feel compelling. The production is glossy but hollow, the styling too effortless to be believable. It's as if Meghan is trying too hard to project an image of casual sophistication, but the cracks are too obvious to ignore. Audiences can see right through the facade. There's no longer the intrigue that once surrounded her. The it factor she had when she first left the royal family is fading fast, and it's becoming clearer that her brand isn't resonating with viewers the way it once did. The reviews have been savage, and the comment sections are far from kind. But perhaps the most troubling part is Meghan's continued refusal to acknowledge what's happening. She keeps trying to act as if the industry still has her back, as if her content will somehow turn things around. The reality is much darker. Hollywood doesn't work on hope alone. You can't simply keep pushing content and expect the public to jump back on your side once they've tuned out. Meghan's image was built on intrigue, but now that the mystery is gone, she's left trying to cling to a version of herself that no longer fits. The cracks in her carefully crafted public persona are growing, and no amount of PR or Instagram posts can hide that the facade is starting to crumble. As Meghan's public image continues to fade, the pressure only mounts behind the scenes. The financial strain of their extravagant lifestyle, combined with the mounting challenges in their careers, is beginning to take its toll. Living in their multi-million-dollar mansion in Montecito, complete with round-the-clock security and a full staff, isn't sustainable without a steady flow of revenue. The carefully curated image of success is starting to crack, And what's more concerning is that their income from ventures like Netflix, Spotify, and other partnerships is far from covering the costs of their lifestyle. Prince Harry's personal struggles are adding to the stress. Losing control of his charity, Sentable, was a significant blow to his reputation, and the financial uncertainty only deepens his and Meghan's situation. Royal insiders have reported that the couple is grappling with financial stress as the income they once thought would keep them afloat has begun to dwindle. With no substantial new projects on the horizon and public interest waning, Meghan and Harry are finding it harder to maintain their luxurious lifestyle. In Hollywood, image is everything, and once you fall out of favor, it's incredibly difficult to claw your way back. The public may not see the full extent of their struggles, but behind the curtain, the cracks are widening. Meghan's PR efforts to portray an optimistic future are becoming more transparent. She's still showing up in the media, pushing content as if everything is business as usual. But the reality is that she's facing a battle she can't win. The fame they once enjoyed is slipping through their fingers, and the weight of trying to keep up appearances is taking its toll. The downward spiral is happening quietly, almost imperceptibly, but it's undeniable. Meghan Markle and Prince Harry are on the verge of losing the very thing they once had in abundance: Hollywood's backing. And without that, the fairy tale they once dreamed of is quickly becoming a distant memory. In the end, Meghan Markle's Hollywood dream is slowly fading, and the cracks in her carefully curated image are becoming impossible to ignore. What started as a golden opportunity, leaving behind royal life for Hollywood stardom, has turned into a series of missteps that are hard to recover from. Her fumble with Mariah Carey was just the beginning, a small moment that snowballed into a larger narrative of missed opportunities, misjudged responses, and growing isolation. The entertainment industry may not reject you outright, but it can make you disappear in the most subtle, strategic ways. And that's exactly what's happening with Meghan. The silence from her former supporters, the distancing from key figures like Mariah Carey and Serena Williams, and the dwindling public interest in her projects all signal one thing: Meghan's place in Hollywood is no longer guaranteed. Hollywood doesn't forget, but it does move on. And unless something truly dramatic happens to shift the narrative, Meghan Markle's story might soon become a footnote in someone else's documentary. The fade out has begun, and it's subtle, it's calculated, and it's irreversible. The world may have once been intrigued by her journey, but now that intrigue is fading, and the mystique that once surrounded Meghan Markle is all but gone.